Have you ever wondered how do people get approached by agency recruiters as well as headhunters? In today's video, I will be breaking down a few tricks that I have learned along the way of my career development so far that can get you discovered by agency recruiters and headhunters coming right up. So before I actually get to the specifics of how to get you discovered by headhunters as well as agency recruiters, I wanted to lay out there that in order for the recruiter or the headhunter to reach out to you, you have to satisfy a few conditions. So first of all, agency recruiters as well as headhunters, they are recruitment professionals that are out there to do a job so that they can get a commission. So that means they're not just doing the job for free for you. What that means is, usually for entry-level jobs, recruiters and headhunters will not spend any time just to fill those entry-level jobs unless there are specific skill sets or qualifications that are harder to find, and therefore the employers have assigned the role to an agency recruiter or a headhunter. So some of the more common jobs that the agency recruiters as well as the headhunters are looking for include software development professionals, QA people, sales people, project managers, business analysts, accountants, finance individuals, so on and so forth. Okay, so now we have laid out the foundation of the conversation. Let me get into the specifics of how you can get discovered by agency recruiters as well as headhunters. In today's era, the importance of online presence cannot be understated. I'm not just referring to your personal Facebook, YouTube, Instagram accounts. Instead, I'm referring to more specifically regarding your professional online presence. This includes your LinkedIn profile as well as, if you're a technical person, your GitHub account. One of the things I have trial and error many times before is that if you were to have a strong online presence, meaning that you have your online resume in multiple websites such as Monster, Indeed, Career Builder, ZipRecruiter, there are a million other websites out there, just so that if you have the proper resume and then the proper format, then when you have the information out there and when the recruiters and headhunters are looking for a role, they typically go on to using different search keywords and so that they will come across your resume. So I would typically recommend you to have a career overview section on the top of your resume, just because studies have shown that recruiters typically spend less than 30 seconds on your resume just because of the number of resumes that they have to go through. So it is quite beneficial for you to have just a quick summary. Consider that as your elevator pitch, within 30 seconds. How can you grab the attention of the individual that's looking at your resume to potentially fill a role? So I'm a project management professional myself. I would typically just list my certifications. So for example, my PMP certification, my Scrum Master certification, my number of years of work experience, some of the industries that I have worked in, and any outstanding skill sets or accomplishments that I would like to capture. So having a strong online professional presence is a good way to start, but then let's just be reactive. So let me get into another approach that I have found tremendous success with, having recruiters to interact with you for potential openings. So this strategy involves keeping up to date with the newest job openings. What I would recommend you to do is subscribe to a job news alert, for example, something like Indeed, where the search engine allows you to create specific filters to meet your criteria. So for example, starting with your location, the salary range that you will be looking for, the nature of the employment opportunity, whether it's a contract role or is it a full-time permanent role, and then any particular industry or company names that you'll be looking for. So having that criteria set up, and then you just monitor your inbox every now and then, and if you do see something that's matching, just keep an eye out for it. And then oftentimes what you will see is that agency recruiters as well as headhunters do post on the job websites as well for different openings when they are trying to secure a matching candidates for the role. So just always keep your options open, right? And then don't just put all your baskets in, don't just put all your eggs in one basket. Oftentimes what happens is, just apply to this job postings posted by different agencies, and then as a matter of fact, that is how I got my first interaction with a headhunter, and then that's how I got my first role after being headhunted. And then another thing to keep in mind is that if you are interested in switching to a different job soon and is very open to opportunities coming your way, what I would recommend you to do is also just make sure you create a profile and then upload your resume to the different agencies' websites. There are many different agency websites that you can create a profile and then upload your resume. And oftentimes, assuming your profile matches a particular position that a recruiter is trying to fill, what they will do is, obviously they will go out there and then look for the best resume they can find, and they will also do keyword searches within their database. And then so if you already have your resume in the database and then with the proper keywords that's like matching, then obviously they'll give you a shout out and then to see if you are open to a new opportunity right away. So always keep that in mind as well. And then lastly, one of the things that cannot be understated is the power of networks. Obviously, networks, we have all been there, done that. Sometimes we hate to approach new people. Sometimes we're very excited and just to get to know different people. But networking does have its merits, and I would strongly recommend you to do so as well. So as a project management professional, obviously I do have my local PMI chapter that obviously sends me new events every now and then. So if I do have the time, I try to go to those events just to stay up to date with some of my fellow professionals, just to see if there's anything that's interesting happening with the job markets, with the industries, and so on and so forth. I have obviously gone to many different networking events where I have met industry professionals from different fields, sales, small business owners, or even just recruiters from different agencies, right? So always just keep that option open as well, just to meet with new people, get to know what they are up to, and then what's driving them to such events. With the meetup groups, right, the purpose obviously is to find like-minded individuals, and obviously someone you wanted to build a lasting relationship with. The way it goes is, if like a stranger approaches me with a potential request for a coffee interview, just to know about my background, what my current job is all about, obviously I'm not gonna take it seriously, right? But then if I am in a networking event and then I happen to have a great conversation with someone who's just like-minded like me, even though he or she may be a stranger to me, after having some conversations, I may feel like, hey, I like this guy. And then if he or she reaches out to me at a later time for a potential coffee interview, just to know what I'm up to, and then if there's any job openings that I am aware of in my organization, obviously that does increase my willingness to give a helping hand. And then that also extends to the different referrals that's out there, right? So for example, your acquaintances, your friends, your ex-co-workers, the list goes on and on, right? I would really recommend you to get in touch with them, stay in touch, and then every now and then just reach out to say, and then what's up, we haven't spoken for a while, I just wanted to know how things with you, maybe go out for a coffee, maybe go out for a meal, and then just say, hey, I'm potentially open to new opportunities right now. Just because I have been with my job for a while, I feel like I'm not really going anywhere. Do you have any suggestions for me? So obviously, just having that personal connection with your within your social circle obviously can go a long way as well. And then the last thing I would really recommend you to do is to just stay in touch with your professional associations. So like I mentioned a couple times already, as a project management professional, obviously there are the local PMI chapters that have many events I can go to. But then I'm sure whether you're an accounting individual, or if you are a finance professional, or just like software engineering or like software development, so on and so forth. There are many opportunities for you to just network with different individuals, and then just to stay in touch, and build a lasting relationship. And then who knows, maybe sometime down the road, a couple years down the road, they may just be able to give you a helping hand when you need it the most. If you found my video helpful and informative, consider subscribing. Until next time, take care, and I will see you soon. Welcome back to my channel. This is Dan here. In my channel, I talk about different things through the lens of a second-generation immigrant. So I hope this video is helpful to you. If you find this video to be helpful, consider subscribing.